All right, Shalom. This is Howard One by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. Before I begin, I want to say Kal Halayim, Leah Hawa, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harakah Kwadash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, Nakwatim, and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. I'm trying to make this a fast one. We have a news article from where is it at? There you go. We have a news article um, from the Daily Star. I'm not too sure how legit the Daily Star is. I have to do some research and look at their reviews. But yeah, the title, as you can see here, let me go to it real quick. Is this is from September 20th, right? September 20th, 2025. And it says World War III to start before Christmas. All right. As defector claims Putin to unleash gray zone invasion. All right, because I guess they got a gray zone. Let me see if they got a map of it. Let's see if they got one. All right, so they got a. Here you go. I guess this is their gray zone. You can't see nothing. Oh, she's blurry. Let me see if I can get a different one. All right, let me see. Well, it's not showing me anything real clear that I can see. Maybe this one right here. This one don't give us anything. We move on. I wonder why it's coming up so blurry. But either way, I guess the Russia gray zone operation campaigns. All right. I have no clue what the hell this is showing. All right, cool. So I just let me see. Mm-hmm. This might be a little clearer. It says the Baltic Sea has been dubbed the NATO lake as Sweden joins the military alliance. So I guess the gray zone is like these areas like Poland, Germany, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and yeah, I think Russia got Belarus. So I guess the gray zone is like the let me see the definition of it. It says a Russian gray zone, right? A Russian gray zone, Russian NATO gray zone refers to hostile activities perpetuated by Russia that fall below the threshold of open military conflict, right? To avoid triggering a direct conventional war with NATO. So they're doing other forms of um, hostile activities. That's the gray zone to where ever since World War II, I think they've had gray zones in place All right, so they wouldn't just start bombing each other. Instead, they go to war economically, um, you know, through proxies, right? And it says here conventional to avoid a direct conventional war with NATO. Instead of outright invasion, Russia uses ambiguous, deniable tactics, meaning like sneaky, uh, to where you can't really catch it. Who did it? Who was it? Deniable tactics to achieve its strategic goals, destabilize Western countries. All right, so that's what they're doing. They're destabilizing each other, like with the BRICS, moving towards their own currency. That's a move to destabilize the U.S. dollar in the West, because that's what the UK or the European Union they pushed to destabilize Russia back in 1991, the fall of the Soviet Union. This form of hybrid warfare operates in the hazy area between peace and war. So that's where we at. It's in the hazy, that's what they call the gray zone area between peace and war. So it's not peace and it's not war, but it's right in the middle. Basically proxies. All right. So that's a gray zone. So let's go back to this. We'll go back to this article. It says World War III. They should say could start. So it says to start before Christmas as defector claims Putin to unleash gray zone invasion. So they saying he could go straight on military attack on these countries in the gray zone areas. All right, like I think we've been hearing about Poland lately. Um, Moscow is planning a gray zone assault there you go, on Poland. All right, ahead of Christmas, and we know Christmas means mass means gathering, and Christ is supposed to be the name of the anointed one, Yahushua, but that's not his name. And people are gathering on Christmas on your holiday. Hmm. They give you holiday time off. And everybody, it's time for the families to get together. But they gathering in the name of Nimrod, not Yahushua. All right, so he's the false anointed one that they're gathering in the name of, because Yahushua was born in the spring around the Passover, and he died around the Passover. Well, he transitioned around the Passover, or should I say, was crucified. So, according to a high-ranking Russian military source, the alert passed through an Eastern European partner during London DSEI arms fair last week, has sparked frantic talks between the UK and US over fears of a covert strike designed to split NATO apart. Man, whoa! So this could be it, man. You know, this could be it. This could be the year that the prophecies really come to pass. You never know. Had maybe not completely, but the main prophecies could really kick off, like World War III, which ultimately wouldn't go nuclear immediately, but it would no longer be proxy wars. It would be a hot war between the major nuclear power countries. All right, like NATO, countries, America, Russia and its allies. You got talks of a possible war between Israel and Iran kicking back up in a few days. All right. Damn it. Sorry about that. I just woke up, man. All right. So it says here, most recently, three MiG-31 fighter aircrafts armed with hypersonic missile capabilities violated Estonian airspace. Whoa, where's Estonia? Oh, so Russia, they sent fighter jets over into Estonia. They right up on the borders of Russia, man. All right. I think Russia is planning trying to make the St. Petersburg the new New York, where everybody in the world want to travel to and see. Like, you gotta look into that, man. It's called St. Petersburg. All right. So they got plans for their new world order. The West has plans for their new world order involving satanic rulership. All right. But Yahweh has the real plans to set up a new world order where um, a good prince, a righteous prince and king is going to rule over the whole world, not these devils on both sides, Satan divided against Satan. All right. All right. My bad, man. I'm being around a lot of sick people lately. Uh, so now, let me go back to this article. So it says here, this development, oh no, the Russian warplanes were confronted after looping around the Gulf of Finland for 12 minutes, reports the Express. Prime Minister Christian Macau branded the breach. They, I haven't people talk like this Esau way of talking, but they called that invasion of the fighter jets from Russia into Estonia. They called that an unprecedentedly brazen, meaning saying being prideful, while or disrespectful. While Donald Trump cautioned it could spark big trouble. That's what they want. They want another um trigger to start off World War Three, like they did with World War One and World War Two. Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper declared the UK stands with our Estonian allies, following yet another reckless incursion into NATO airspace by Russia. We must continue to increase pressure on Putin, and including driving forward the new sanctions announced by the UK and EU. All right, so they're basically putting sanctions on each other. You know, that's like a form of war. But at this point, Russia's ready to go hands on and direct. So let me get this real quick. But just something just popped in my mind. Um, there you go. I know what I want. Let me go here real quick. Get this. This is what I want. Because I want to look up something. Let's go to Ezekiel 38 real quick. I ain't going to spend too much time on that topic. On that chapter, I mean. Ezekiel 38, right? Then I want to look up uh Estonia. Oh, Estonia. Union. It says, yes, I was asked the question, Was Estonia a part of the Soviet Union? It said yes, Estonia was incorporated into the Soviet Union in the 1940s. So they used to be part of Russia, Estonia, all of those places. Crazy, man. NATO 1940 as the Estonian Soviet Social Republic, ESSR, just like the USSR, the United Soviet Social Republic, and remained a Soviet republic until regaining its independence in that big 1991. When the Soviet Union fell, they gained independence, just like Ukraine. Ukraine gained so much independence from Russia that they tried to start their own language. That's why they talk a little different. But they all Russians. They all basically Edomites, but Russians. 1991, man. All right, so fall of the Soviet Union that gave Estonia and these other countries its sovereignty, like freedom from um, Russia. All right, so they was able to make allies with people like NATO. So 1991, following the collapse of the USSR, see, all right, the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact of 1939 led to the forced incorporation, which was never recognized by the United States. All right, so yeah. So now let's see something. I'm gonna type in something else. Poland. All right, so Poland wasn't. In contrast, Poland and the rest of the Warsaw Pact countries, that what they're the Warsaw Pact, as well as Mongolia, were from at least 1953 to 1989 or 1990 officially independent countries that were allied to the Russia, to the USSR, but weren't part of the USSR. So they were allies with Russia prior to 1953, right? So prior to 1953, uh, Poland was allied to Russia, but they weren't part of Russia. So see, imagine all that dominance that Russia had. All right. So now, is there anything else interesting on this article? It says, yet, whilst NATO's northern borders have faced repeated challenges, the defecting general caution that Poland might encounter something considerably more aggressive. Whoa, whoa, they might go nuclear. Intelligence sources reveal the tip off came from a Russian one-star officer, thought to be an army major general, who has subsequently fled Russia. He alleges the Kremlin is plotting a non-nuclear assault on Polish soil, so not nuclear, a calculated yet restrained move aimed at gauging NATO's reaction and sparking political chaos across Europe. This intelligence has been passed to the Americans and is currently being evaluated by top transatlantic officials. All right, so yeah, man. Either way, it's kicking up to a hot war. All right, a direct war between these major countries. All right, so I'm gonna get a couple scriptures real quick because Russia wants to dominate that area around its borders again. It wants to expand its borders back to Poland, Ukraine, all those countries that were allied to Russia. And that's in the scriptures. It says Ezekiel 38 and 1. Let me see, type this in. Let's see, all right. Yeah, why not? All right, so yeah, Russia is the bear. So Ezekiel 38 and 2, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog. That would be Russia. All right, that would be Russia, the land of Magog today. And it says, and prophesy against them, meaning speak their future that the Lord has planned for them, right before it happens, because that gives praise and uh, glory to the Most High, Yahweh, telling His prophets everything that's about to happen, and then it happens. It shows that He's controlling everything, Yahweh. And thus saith Yahweh, the power. Behold, I am against thee, O God. So even though the Most High is using Russia, He's still against them because they most of them are Edomites. The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. So the chief prince, the ruling nation over those Eurasian countries, which would be Eastern Asia, right? Not the West. So the chief prince of that area would be Moscow or Russia, all right? The dominant, they call it Mother Russia, all right? So that's Moscow, the Kremlin. And it says, and I will turn thee back. So turn them back and put hooks into thy jaws, right? Because the scriptures say the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, and he turns it so whithersoever he will. So he's turning Russia off of their plans to move towards the Most High's plans for World War III. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. Turn them back into what? That old Soviet Union, USSR mindset, wanting to take back those surrounding countries that are on their border, right? Their old allies, because they gave their dominance over to Europe and to the West, to America in 1991, so they could focus on fixing their economy that was destabilized by people like allegedly George Soros and people from the West. All right. So now in 2016, you had the Brexit, where the European Union and NATO started to break apart, and in that confusion or separate decoupling, you had Russia automatically like a buoy or balloon in the water. You push it down, it just pop right back up, boop, and that's what Russia doing. The bear is coming out of hibernation, and the Lord has brought them forth, man, and all their weapons come out like Yosemite Sam, right? So now it says, wait a minute, this is the wrong one. Jeez, I'm going to Ezekiel. There you go. Now it says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. So the Lord has brought Russia forth, emboldened them with their allies, with their weaponry, their economy. So you see Russia and their allies increasing, and their power in the earth right now. We're literally watching the power of Yahweh by Shem Shai turn back our captivity before our eyes. And all thy army, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. So all modern versions of warfare and technology and even a great company. So they're allies with bucklers and shields, all kind of defense, missile defenses. All of them handling swords. So all of the nations and their allies with Russia are going to be have nukes and all kind of missiles technology and defenses. All right, so this is prophecy. All right, so I'm gonna go to let me see. Let's go to Slovakia. I'm just getting a picture for the backdrop. Ain't got no good pictures up today. All right, so yeah, they having their back and forth. That's a good one. All right, UK sparks NATO versus Russia war to fight Putin. So, um, they want the beast to go against, because that's what NATO was created for. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization was created or organized by a group of minds, rich European Union nations, the dragon, that came together and formed this beast, this military machine called NATO. Where if you go to war with one of those countries from NATO, you got to go to war with all of them. And they signed a defense treaty together to protect each other or fund each other, either one. All right. So the gray, this is Zephaniah 1 and 14. The great day of Yahweh is near. It is near and hasteth greatly, man. So that's what it's about. The great day of the most. It might not be next month or December, but it's near. It's close. The great and it hasteth what? It hasteth greatly. He said, though it tarry, wait for it. It's going to surely come. All right. The great day of Yahweh is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of Yahweh. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. So all the soldiers, they're gonna cry, and the rich and wealthy, for all the destruction that they see, and they ain't gonna be able to do anything about it. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress. Mayday, mayday. All right, a day of wasteness and desolation. Yet the Lord said He created the waster to destroy. And once they start dropping nukes, man, that's gonna be this. They said that's horrifying. That's what the scriptures say. Whoa, 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 which means horror, horror, horror. All right, like a horror movie. Um, so it's gonna be wasteness, just destroying whole countries or whole cities, and desolation, like they're doing over in Gaza. A day of darkness and gloominess. A day of clouds and thick darkness, man. All right, nuclear fallout, radiation. A day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers, man. All right. So they go. That's in Ezekiel 38, where the Lord's going to put it into the leader of Russia, which happens to be Putin, and Lavrov and their generals. He's going to put it into their plans to go up to the borders of America, all right, for a threat. Just like they're all on the borders of Russia. Eventually, they're going to push against the borders of America, a direct threat. according to the scriptures. All right, and I will bring distress upon men. That we say nation gonna rise against nation, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against Yahweh, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung, man. All right, so especially America, Babylon, uh, the mother of harlots, that causes, um, that enables uh, idolatry here, and other forms of sin, right? Pride and all that, right? What they're into. It says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's wrath. So they ain't gonna be able to pay off Russia. They said they should not desire gold nor silver. It's gonna be determined in their mind that they want to destroy this place. They're gonna be straight up vengeance from Russia. All right. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. This is talking about this land that they say this land is your land. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. It's only going to take an hour. All right. That's why this buildup seems long, or it takes years. But um, the Lord said, he said he does not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So he got everything measured out in time. All right. But it's definitely going to happen, and they're moving fastly towards it. It says, Revelation 8:13, and I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, and they got that three-eye atlas out there. That could be a false flag, or they're saying a fleet of angels or a giant craft. So either way, we're in this time. All right. So, and I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, woe, 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 or horror, horrifying, man, to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpets of the three angels which are yet to sound. World War III, man. All right. Um, yeah, man. So this is definitely something to look forward to. Keep your eyes on. Oh, this is the one I want. Where is it at? Mm, Is that 13? So lock it. 1 second. All right, because it speaks about Russia. There you go. Right, because it said what? Where is it at? There you go. Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, talking about America, and he had two horns like a lamb, Democratic and Republican parties. You know, divide and conquer. And he spake as a dragon. So they push all of the policies of of Europe and the UK and NATO. All right, the dragon. Um, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. Talking about the Roman Empire, which today is called the European Union, and with his allies NATO and America. All right, so this is World War II, 1938, 1945, and he doeth great wonders. So America showed up and did great wonders, almost like witchcraft. Splitting the atoms, creating the nuclear weapons, and actually testing them, and then testing them on a country called Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. so that he maketh fire to come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And that's what gave America its dominance and power and put fear into all these nations. Even today, is it called a deterrent? All right. That's why Trump walk around with his chest out because of the military and their weapons. All right. So where is it at? So I want this real quick. 1 second. All right. So that's yeah, here we go. So let's go down to let's start from 1 and go to 4. Let's keep it like that. And I'll end it there. Revelation 13 and 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, so upon the earth. All right. So you look upon the earth and saw a beast rise up out of the earth. So if you've seen this vision, he's seeing military, seeing a beast, he's seeing a dragon, the monster coming out of the water. That's the whole interpretation of a monster that comes on the earth and scares the shit out of the whole world. And that's what they did with um, dropping the atomic bomb during World War II. You know, a fearful organization called NATO showed up on this earth. That's what this means. Coming up out of the sea. The sea represents people in the world. So they came together, those collective minds, and those rich elites in the Europe, and they established the military beast called NATO, led by the Hammer America. All right, the horse riding upon the scarlet colored beast, having 7 heads and 10 horns. All right, so 7 heads represent uh, NATO, and upon his head, his horns, 10 crowns. That's the European Union, and and upon his head, the names of blasphemy. So it was blasphemous leaders that were ruling this organization. All right, those elite bankers, and it started with 27 countries, the European Union. It's called the Western European Union. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. So just like the Greeks with Alexander dominated the whole world, put the whole world in fear. And his feet were as the feet of a bear. So this, you see the feet of it, it represents the end of the system. So at the end, you're going to see Russia pop up. All right. So this now we're in the stage that Daniel chapter 2, where the Lord said He's going to take them at the feet. That's the end of the system. Daniel chapter 2. All right. So bear, which means an obstruction, as obstructed by ferocity. So imagine something ferocious standing in your way. It says cool to hunt something that's not hunting you, but it's different when you hunt something that's hunting you back. So the word bear just means enough or ferocity, as obstructing by ferocity. Whew. All right, Arctos. So let's end it here, man. And it says here, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. Talking about Britain. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Talking about NATO. All right, so that's where they started taking things from around the world, coveting, blessing the. You see, there you go. That's what they do. There you go. Where is it? This is Psalms 10 and 3. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire. That's what they're doing. That's what they've done over in Europe and over here at Babylon. They've boasted of their heart's desire of a new world order and a dominant West, and blessed us because of this. See, that's what they did. They blessed those European nations. They gave America their power and seat and great authority. Agreed. Covetous just means ill-gotten gains. Taking the world, stealing countries from each other, political wars. Empowering each other to do destruction to another country, destabilizing each other. That's why the Lord said, when the righteous are in authority, the world shall study war no more. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom Yahweh hateth or abhorreth, man. So the Lord hates their organizations. All right. So Revelation 13:4, and they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, unto NATO. Europe gave power to NATO financially and militarily, and they worshipped the beast. They all submitted to NATO and its allies. That's why they rule in the world right now, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is like unto NATO, and who is able to make war with him? Now you got Russia, you got China, you got all these nations, and they're able to make war against them now. Sirach 10:4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. See, it's not in the hand of Russia. It's not in the hand of Europe. The dragon gave him his power and authority. Well, who gave power to the dragon? Job 9:24 said the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And it also says in Daniel, the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he will. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, if I'm not mistaken. It says, power is given to them from the Most High, the rulers of the earth. The Lord governs the earth with his hand. So the power of the earth is in the hand of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, actually. He handed his power to Yahushai. And in due time, he will set over it one that is profitable. So Yahweh is going to set Yahushai over it. And Yahushai is going to set King David back up over the 12 tribes of Israel. And in the hand of Yahweh is the prosperity of man, whether good or bad. That's spoken of in Job. And upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. All right. So the ones that are in the truth, the Lord is going to exalt them, the Israelites, to rule the world. All right. Bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong. But what do you see them doing? Warring against each other, hating each other. Nation rising up against nation. All for what? For greed. And do nothing at all by injurious practices. That's what the Lord said. When the righteous are in authority, the world shall study war no more. They're gonna be put down and uh, judged for 1,000 years. But after that, it's gonna be some stable form of living for these nations. All right. Pride is hateful before Yahweh. So pride and before man. You see that? So brazen disrespect on either side is disrespectful to the Most High and to other men. And by both doeth one commit iniquity. So to be prideful or injustice towards Yahweh is iniquity, and being unjust towards man or another nation is a form of iniquity. All right, injustice. Because of unrighteous dealings. Oh, so on Russia's side, on Europe's side, on America's, NATO, they all fighting over the earth and it doesn't belong to them. He said, what is man? It says grass. Let me read it. He said, we can't take nothing. We brought nothing with us into this world. We could take nothing out. My children always say when they see Putin and Trump and everybody fighting and war, which is all according to prophecy, they look at them. They say, "Yo, I can't believe they were actually babies before." You know, and this is what they grew up to be because of unrighteous dealings, injuries. See that riches and riches gotten by deceit. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. So that's what they're fighting over. That tug of war between the East and the West, looking for dominance and destabilization of their, um, uh, what would it be, contender or their adversary. Why is Earth and Ashes proud, man? Why are these people proud like that? Prideful. Look at even him, right? Why are these people so damn prideful? Because according to prophecy. Why is Earth and Ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. That's why the Lord said he abhors it. He hates it. A covetous man, all right, whom the Lord abhorreth. Greedy, taking things by ill-gotten gain through murderous ways or attacks and shit. Deceit, deception. For such an one setteth his own soul to sale. Didn't Esau do that? Try to sell his own soul, his birthright? Because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. All right, so uh, there you go. The physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. So all these people acting like they're gonna live for eternity and shit. For when a man is unalived, he shall inherit creeping things, beasts and worms. Not the world. They're not gonna inherit riches and wealth and dominance like they look to be doing. Uh, but the Lord could take them out at any second, and the only thing they're gonna inherit is what comes with death. All right. But the elect of Israel, they're gonna inherit the kingdom. The beginning of pride, however you look at the word pride, is when one departed from Yahweh and his heart is turned away from his maker. And Esau, that's what it really started with Esau. When they turned away from the Most High, um, to this day, we still see them. He said, as soon as they be born, they go away speaking lies. They turn from the Lord. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And that's what they're doing. They're pouring out nothing but abomination all over the earth. Look at Gaza. Look at what Trump's doing. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. The Lord has cast down the thrones of the proud princes, man. He's going to cast down all their thrones and set up the meek in their stead. So he's going to set up the Israelites in their place. Think about it. They all fighting and shit. But at the end of the day, the Lord like, all right, let them fight. I'm about to set y'all up. All right. The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their stead, man. So this was about to happen. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. All right. So it says, pride was not made for men, nor furious anger for them that are born of a woman. All right. So yeah, man. That's why it says, fear the Most High, not man. So they're fighting back and forth, and Putin got all these plans, and America got plans for a new world order and a new America and make America great again. But all they're going to inherit is judgment from the Most High and fire and worms. You know, the wrath of Yahweh by Shem Shai. So yeah, man. The topic was um, who is this? I guess this. Uh, it says Putin could follow the playbook he first rolled out in invading Ukraine back in 2014. He was talking about taking all those gray zone areas. World War III could start before Christmas, as defector claims Putin is ready to unleash gray zone invasion. All right. A Russian military general has claimed that Moscow is preparing a gray zone attack on Poland before Christmas in a bid to fracture NATO. So hey man, Yahweh Ratazah, this will come to pass, and we'll see. Things could be heating up if Russia goes into Poland or if NATO goes into Belarus. All right. So hopefully this was edifying. Man, I'm gonna say shalom to the next one.